you are not LARPing hard enough. Everybody and their grandma knows what LARPing is. If you go on the internet, you will see all these young kids with rented supercars, rented mansions, posting photos online about it, and everybody in the comments knows that they're LARPing. Everybody in the comments says, no, this is blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows, right? But how are these kids still becoming successful? Even if everybody knows that the success these kids are putting on the internet isn't true. Isn't the whole point of LARPing to like scam people, to trick people, to make people think you're successful when in reality you're not, and then they're going to buy something from you? But then how are these kids still successful if everybody knows that it's LARP? Well, you have misidentified what LARP is. You do not understand what LARP is. I didn't understand what LARP is until maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So I'm going to explain to you right now what LARP actually is, why it works, why these people who LARP end up becoming successful, and how you can apply it in your own life. And first, I'm going to tell you the story of how I got started on social media, because once you understand that, it's going to wrap all the way back in and you're going to be able to apply these lessons yourself. So let me cook. On social media, you need to be confident, right? Here I'm standing with my shirt off in the shed. I used to do the videos on this chair right here. As you can see, it's sitting in the corner now. And my very first video, I wasn't very confident. And as time went on, I got more and more confident. But how did I get more confident? Well, it wasn't like I was just magically confident. Right now, I'm still a bit nervous, right? I'm still a bit nervous with my shirt off standing here like this, because this is my second time doing the video format like this. But why am I doing this? Because I think it's going to be more engaging. It's going to probably get more views, and people are going to perceive me as more confident, right? But I'm not necessarily as confident as I'm acting right now. And that's how social media works. You need to be engaging, and you need to act like you have followers. You need to act like people are supporting you before they are supporting you. But why are you doing this? You're not doing this for the external people viewing you. You're not doing it so people say, oh, this guy's more confident. He's cool. I'm going to follow. You're doing it because you need to feel what it feels like to be confident. You need to feel what it feels like to be successful. If you always acted on social media like you weren't someone with followers, you would never get any followers. Not because people perceived you differently, but because the actions you were taking were different, because your beliefs about who you actually were different. If you never familiarize your body with the idea of what it feels like to be successful, well, then you'll never see any success, because every time there's an opportunity for you to see success, you will run away from it. So let me explain. I've been an addict my whole life. Recently, I'm maybe 3.5 months sober, right? But my whole life, I was addicted. Alcohol, drugs, porn, everything. My whole life, I had bad relationships with my family. I had bad relationships with my friends. When there was an opportunity for me to drink, I would drink heaps. When there was an opportunity for me to smoke cigarettes, I would smoke all of them, right? When I would get in conflicts with my friends, I wouldn't be able to admit I was wrong. When I would talk to my family, I would always bring up a problem, right? All these bad things were coming into my life, right? And I had so many opportunities to change, so many opportunities to grow as a person. I could have stopped smoking cigarettes a long time ago. I could have stopped drinking a long time ago. When my friends came to me and said, hey man, you're doing this wrong, I could have admitted that I was wrong a long, long time ago, and things would have improved a long, long time ago. But why did they never improve? Because I never believed that I was worthy of having anything better. Let me explain. So when my friends would come to me and they would say, hey man, you've done this thing wrong, you need to apologize, etc., etc., I would just be like, no, that's not right. And I would fight it. I would fight against it, right? And at first you might think, oh, that's because you have fear of abandonment issues, right? You're worried that if you admit you're wrong, people are going to leave you because of stuff that happened in your childhood. And that's what I thought. I thought that in my mind, but that was just fear speaking. That was just my fear talking. What really was the case was that I didn't believe that I was worthy of having these good relationships. So every time an opportunity would arise for me to take an action that would lead me to have a good relationship, I would get all this resistance in my body, and then bang, it would never happen. I would cower away from it, and I would blame it on fear. So how the hell does this have anything to do with LARPing? Let's not get too far off topic here, right? These kids are going and they're renting supercars, they're renting mansions, they're living this lavish lifestyle that isn't really theirs for maybe a few months. They're posting it on social media. Okay, yes, they're posting on social media. But what else are they doing? They are simulating the reality that they want to create. They are familiarizing their body with the reality that they want. They are starting to believe that they are actually worthy of this reality. So when the actions arise, or the potential actions arise in their future for them to take the right steps to actually live that lifestyle, they take them instead of carrying away, right? That's what LARPing is. It's familiarizing yourself with success. So everybody looks online and they think, oh, these guys are LARPing because it's going to make them viral. These guys are LARPing because it's going to make other people think that they're successful. But really, they're tricking themselves into success. If you want to see success in your life, you need to believe that you are capable of success, right? And then you're going to have to start taking actions towards that success every single day. And you're not going to see the success at the very start. So how are you supposed to take actions towards success if you don't believe that you're worthy of the success? You have to already believe that you're worthy of success. So how does this apply to you? What the hell can you do about it? Well, you can LARP as well. Now, this version of LARPing is not going to be renting supercars and renting mansions, maybe unless you have the money to do it. Fine, go ahead and do it. Personally, I don't have the money to rent supercars, right? But what I do personally is I sit in my backyard, and there's this wooden bench in my backyard, and there's a corner on it. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm not sure that you can, but there's a corner in my backyard that's wooden. And I sit on the corner of it, and I close my eyes, and my feet are dangling off the edge, and I imagine myself in a villa in Koh. I've already been to this villa previously, a few years ago. And this villa, you can look over the sunset and there's a nice ocean view. And I imagine myself sitting there, dangling my legs over the edge of the villa. When my coaching business is successful, I've got more followers on Instagram and everything's going well and all the goals I dreamed of have been achieved. Why do I do that? I'm trying to familiarize myself with the success. Why do I sit on the corner of that wooden bench? Because I'm trying to simulate as accurately as I possibly can what it would feel like to have that success. Obviously, I can't go to Koh and be in that villa right now. So I have to try and create it in my own reality that I have right now so that my body can familiarize itself with the feeling of that goal that I want to achieve. So that's what LARPing is. They're renting these supercars, they're renting these mansions, and they're living the lifestyle, and they're allowing their body to simulate as closely as possible to this success. And then, because of that, their body is going to familiarize itself with that feeling of success. Then they're going to actually believe that they're worthy of achieving this success. And then they're going to start taking actions towards it. So that's how you can apply it in your own life. If you have a goal, you need to try and accurately simulate that goal as well as you can. And then let yourself feel what it feels like to have achieved the goal. But don't do it in a euphoric way. Don't be like, oh my God, I finally achieved my goal. Just do it in a calm way where you're centered and you familiarize yourself, and now all of a sudden it doesn't feel special anymore. That's the whole point. You don't want it to feel special anymore. If you're idolizing this goal, if you're putting this goal on a pedestal, then it's implying to yourself that you don't have it. So you need to basically desensitize yourself to achieving the goal. So then it just feels normal to you. And then you will just go out and do these things, because when the fear arises, you won't listen to it. And when you have the opportunity to actually take the action towards your goal, you will go and take it, because you're not going to be scared, because you actually believe that you deserve to see that change. So yeah, guys, that is what LARPing is. That is how I think LARPing actually works, because at this point, everybody knows these kids are just LARPing, but still, they end up becoming successful. So why would that happen? Well, that is my explanation. I hope you guys like this video. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, go in my description. My link is there for my Instagram. You can follow me there. I talk about stuff like this and like gym related stuff, self-development stuff, everything like that. So you can give me a follow there. And yeah, hope you guys like this one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.